This will be the 15th Prime Minister that the Queen has met since she first took over as Queen. It's almost unbelievable to think that it's back at the time when Winston Churchill was Prime Minister. But with increasing concerns about her mobility, perhaps even her health more broadly, I don't know. What's going to happen is Liz Truss, and I think Boris Johnson before her, will have to go to Balmoral. But joining me is BBC's former royal correspondent, Michael Cole. Michael, good evening.
Good evening, Nigel. You know, it was absurd, wasn't it, to think that the 96-year-old monarch could make an 800-mile round trip simply because the Tory party has been indulging in this ludicrously prolonged, extended election process. I mean, I wrote an article about this saying that this should happen, that they should together, Boris and the winner, have an away day to Royal Deeside on an RAF jet. You and I, the taxpayer, will be picking up the fare, and they should go there and see the monarch and do the business. And there is precedent. In 1908, the Prime Minister, Herbert Asquith, had to travel all the way to Biarritz to see King Edward VII because he was on holiday there, and he wasn't going to come back to London just because Asquith and the Liberal Party had got themselves in a fix. So Asquith had to make 6 rail journeys, 2 ferry crossings, and spent 4 days and had to eat interminable meals with King Tum Tum, as he was called, in order to do the business. And even in our own lifetime, and you'll probably remember it, the great crisis of 1963, a year of real political crisis, Her Majesty the Queen went to the hospital for officers in Harley Street, where Harold Macmillan was in his sickbed, and she accepted his resignation as Prime Minister there. He was so ill, Nigel, that he lived more than another 20 years. But at that time, I think he was sick, mainly sick of politics after the Profumo scandal. And after that, the magic circle happened. And
OK, Michael, so basically, this is all a perfectly reasonable arrangement. We have got a couple of precedents in the past of things not happening in Buckingham Palace, and we shouldn't be that worried about the Queen's condition.
Well, I think she obviously has mobility issues. She's finding it's difficult to get around. Perhaps we all would if we're lucky to be spared to 96 years. But apparently she's as sharp as a tack. She's on the ball and she's able to conduct her business. What she's not able to do is race around the country at the behest of a Tory party. You know, America, the Americans used to be so impressed that the change of regime was instant here. They spent 18 months electing a new president, and yet it used to be one prime minister goes out of one door and the other prime minister comes into the next, and seamlessly the regime goes on. I don't know why the Tory party has indulged in this thing. It was completely unnecessary. Everybody knew the candidates and could have cast their votes on day one.
Well, I know.
Gone through the straight rigmarole.
I have to say, Michael, the last 2 or 3 weeks have been a complete and absolute farce. They've handled this appallingly. I'm with you on that. And I think your explanation, actually, for why they should go and see the Queen is a rather good one, as I would expect from you, Michael Cole. And thank you again